heck of a nerve.
Oh my God! The government is here! Run!
Hey, barkeep, whose leg do you have to hump to get a dry martini around here?
Ich bin ein Springfielder.
Shut the hell up. I've got the strangest feeling someone's gonna kick his ass.
All right, everybody. Once again, we are live here at Totally Toonular. Tonight, you'll notice once again it is me, your lonely, lonesome hero, Ben Johnson, all by myself. James is still out on set. Nicole is still taking care of some personal situations going on. But tonight, joining me, two wonderful people, both deeply involved in a thing that I am promoting for next week.
Yes,
very heavily. Very heavily. The first voice you hear is Barry McLean Jr. Billy the Kid, Blue Juice Comics. This man is everywhere. Wonderful artist, has designed our poster, and has been a tremendous addition to everything that we've had going on. Barry, thank you for being here.
There.
Yes. I mean, man, let me tell you, a beautiful, beautiful poster. When I first saw it, I really didn't know. I didn't know what to expect, and then I started getting the pencils in, and I was like, "What? Who is this guy?"
We had some fun, dude.
And why is he doing this for us?
Because Uncle Lloyd said so. Uncle Lloyd got me in. So he was like, "Why aren't you working for me now?"
Exactly. That's really what it boiled down to. You know what I mean? Like it really, really did. And speaking of another wonderful trauma connection, joining us also, Nadia White, star
Star,
of Curse of the
dude.
Weird Year.
Oh, you are a star. See how humble she is, dude?
let me tell you real quick too.
We're all actor persons.
All of us actor persons. In our
Yes.
in our heart, at our core, we are just forever actor persons.
Right on.
Nothing more, nothing less. But
Perpetually slaves to trauma somehow.
for the rest of our lives is what I think it's going to be. You know what I mean? Like I try to think of a life where it's, this is a kickstart, and then I look at everybody that it was a kickstart for, and then I look at what I made, and I'm like, I don't know, I might just be here.
It's fine.
Hey, man,
I'm happy to be here with
calm
you.
down. But we representing our sister. That's why we wore the shirts today. So
mean,
come
listen,
on. Come on, sister.
On it. This is you all day.
Hold on.
See, this is what we do. And
That's
as she
funny.
leaves, I hope she can hear, because this is the thing. This is what I
We're
tell everybody.
embarrassing her right now.
There is a moment, and I'll embarrass her all day, because it's one of those things where, Nadia's been in.
Yeah.
There we go. Now we're official. Now we're official. So Nadia's been in a ton of stuff. Like Nadia's been in and around entertainment. Like literally, that's her career.
Forever.
Yes. And I've seen you act. I've seen the stuff that you've been in, and I was like, you know what?
Not all of it, Benjamin.
I won't tell everybody about those, but not all of it. No. I've heard stories
funny.
about some of it. Some of it's frightening. But
It is.
But there is a dramatic turn that she turns in the third act of Weird Year, and I show it to people. It's one of my favorite bits. It's absolutely you lay a dramatic groundwork, Nadia, that we punctuate with a ridiculous joke at the end, and it's this really heightened emotional moment, and it's like everybody that sees it is like right on the oh my god. And the first thing they say after we get the chuckle, they turn around and they're like, that's what she can do? I'm like, yes, that's what she can do. This is who do you think you're talking to? Everybody
Yeah.
blown away. Blown away. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you. It was an amazing project with all its ups and downs and natural disasters. Per usual.
I'm gonna send you guys something after this. We have our full length BTS, and it is
God, I can't
it's something to behold. You want to talk about ups, downs, natural disasters. There's everything from a day of hail to a perpetual rainstorm, rainstorm while we were shooting at this weird little bar in right on the state line, right? It's our local tavern, Barry. It's I come from a town of 2,000 people, give or take. Yeah. It's the only little bar in town, and I didn't know this, bro. It's amazing. Did not know this though. Only ever been there when the sun was out. Starts raining. All right, cool. Ping, 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 ping. You hear the rain all day. Horrible for sound. Yeah. What I did not expect, and what was the worst part of the whole thing, is there is a seam in the building that goes from where you're up at the main bar down to like the stage area. Right. Literally, this whole seam, whoosh, like a damn sheet of water.
Shantytown.
Bro, it was, but they let us shoot there for free. We turned it into a strip club. I've never seen a group
trailer.
I've never seen
the awful trailer out back.
Dude, yeah. That was our dressing room, was this horrible little trailer. And God bless you, Nadia, because that was lackluster, to say the least. To say the absolute least. But listen, to the both of you, thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank you.
Barry, tell us a little bit about what you've got going on in the world, man.
Right now, besides the immediate family I have here right now, I got the HorrorCon coming up. I have Billy the Kid season 2. We got approved for season 2, which is fucking great. It's so hard to get those season 2s. And I'm doing a actual ongoing podcast show with Brian Johnson, Kevin Smith's best friend, on the Comic Book Man. We're going to be doing the show. We're going to start recording that in the next couple of weeks, and that's going to be really, really fun. And other than that, I got my own comic line, the Four Color Demons comic book line that you see in back of me, yes. And I'm launching that, and it's going to be a whole bunch of badass comics on there, a bunch of horror and all types of stuff like that on there. You already know what's going to happen with that with us. So
I watch your feeds and am continually impressed. Impressed.
Thank you,
what is it? Was it burn lead till you're dead, right?
Yeah, you got to market yourself. And a lot of people can draw their ass off, but they don't know how to tag and market themselves. And I was like, you know what? I got to fight Marvel and DC. So I chose like the View Askew team to do comics with and everything like that, and Practical Jokers and stuff. They do the funny. I just do the funny books. And I just wanted to change the face of comics right now. Now everybody on strike and shit. We ain't got to strike about nothing because we already working. You know what I mean? Right. We do our stuff ourselves.
Right.
So here we go.
I mean, this is a wonderful sort of way into. And Nadia, you've worked throughout, but constantly independent, right? Like constantly.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, there's no, and apart from everything, we could joke all day. You've been in like literally like what. Apart from the adult film stuff, whatever, all of that aside, like the films that you
for right now, but Nadia, I'm a fan. and you've been in everything, dude. Like, you're awesome, dude. Like, she could beat us up, actually, too. She could beat us up, too, man.
Well, listen, this is where we're about to get to. Apart from that, though, like even the films that you've been in, the quote unquote like straight films that you've been in, everything has been indie. You've been kicking around doing indies forever, right? Mm-hmm. So the whole notion of striking not working. I mean, what do you think? This is a beautiful time to be independent.
I mean, I would never want to put myself in the position to be controlled and have everything that I do become contrived and losing the passion and the spark of why you actually do something. You know, we don't make a lot of money, if anything, doing these sorts of projects. If you're not getting that satisfaction and getting to show your friends, like, look at this badass thing that I just made, then why do it?
Why even be involved from the beginning? And that's the other thing that really like sort of resonates with me, with you coming down to help out. The first time when we shot the trailer and it was just supposed to be that trailer, it was an excuse for everybody to get together that we hadn't seen in 2 years since Shitstorm. And the fact that you came out, you brought your old man with you, you came out, we made this silly thing in 2 days, had an absolute ball doing it, and then it just turned into, well, a year down the road, somebody was like, turn it into a feature. And because of one of those friends who's no longer with us, we all felt the need to continue to push that. So, we'll pour a couple out from Mr. Blade Braxton a little later, but he very much the impetus for a lot of this. And with that indie spirit in mind, you have added wrestler to your resume?
Yes.
Badass.
So along. So let's see, what do we have now? Indie film actor, film actor, podcaster. I had a band, a YouTube channel, competitive eating, and yes, now I am a professional wrestler.
God damn, girl, slow down. You're making me look bad.
Why not?
Well, that's the biggest thing, though, is it's like, and I look at that and I see work ethic. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of people don't. A lot of people are like, and you can hustle all day, and a lot of people just look at it like you're playing in life, right? And it's point of fact, hustle all day. And what I think it boils down to is jealousy, just jealousy. They don't know what they're doing, right?
Well, it's a lot easier to sit on the couch and run your mouth versus going out and doing something.
You know what I mean? Like your mouth to God's ears.
Amen.
your
But she's God tier, though. I mean, again, this is not no stalking thing. I'm like, I gotta see my team and see what my team's about. And I'm like, God damn, Nadia, what don't you not in? What are you not in?
Right.
What am I gonna do next?
Yeah.
Listen, we might be talking sequel. Shithouse has something else coming up too.
Well, nice. I'm here.
We're
for
here,
your needs.
I've talked a little bit about it here, and we'll get into the nuts and bolts of what we're doing, because really right now I'm acting like a giant bloodsucker right now, just sucking the life out of this. So,
Ben, do you remember a few years ago, I was Arthur for Halloween?
Yes!
Arthur, dude.
I do.
Movie Arthur or Arthur with the glasses?
Ooh.
From
the tick. Oh my God! Oh yes.
Yeah.
Dude, this is too good.
110%. And we'll have to find that before Saturday. If you can, send me a picture. We'll put it up when we post this.
Please, I gotta see that.
But and Nadia, thank you for letting us know. We are talking about the Tick tonight, everybody. It is what we're getting
Not
to.
just not just you, sir.
Not just what we're doing over here, but we are talking about the Tick. But I do want to let people know real quick right here up the top. This week, you have 1 week left before we have 2 amazing screenings of Curse of the Werdeer with beautiful artwork and an amazing star. Like the first, there she is. The first is in Gallatin, Tennessee. It's an audience test screening on August 25th. We've got music starting at 7, show starting at 8. And then one week and 1 day later on 9/2 at the Beauty Bar in beautiful Manhattan, New York.
That sounds so good, baby. Like,
What? Let me tell you, at the Beauty Bar in Manhattan, New York.
sound
World
great.
premiere.
Great radio voice. It's sexy, man.
World premiere at the 23rd annual Troma Dance Film Festival. They're bringing it back to New York. First time since pandemic started. The last time was 2019. It was actually in New York. Other than that, it's been sort of mushed together with the Tromathon at Lehighton, which was wonderful. You know, the film still got saw, but this is an official 3-day event. We screen the second night. We close out the second night. Get there early. You're going to see stuff from Dylan Mars Greenberg, of all people. Like, she's got something in here.
Nice.
What plays right before us? I'm telling everybody, you come for that, and maybe you stick around for us, you know? But
Hopefully.
Please.
Might have to bribe them.
Please. We begging.
I'm very stoked, though, that we are playing the First Fest back in New York. So it feels like a wonderful little homecoming. Very much so. But now we may as well, the reason for the season, we watched The Tick.
Yes, we did.
So, real quick, and I like to start like this. Nadia, Barry, where did The Tick fall for you in your youth? Like where did it hit in sort of your head, in your world?
I want to let Nadia go first. Nadia, you let me know. You let us know first. Just a little bit.
I was born in 87, so The Tick was early to mid elementary school years for me. So this kind of, as I was rewatching it, it kind of unlocked a few key memories, and it made me realize this was not just one of those fever dreams that you think that everyone else knows about, but they don't.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
And for me, I'm a little older. I'm a crusty old man. This hit like middle school style for me, right? Yeah. Hit absolutely middle school style, and I'm a dude at the time. I like to think I have a little bit of a brain to me. The one thing that I always sort of carried was that it's much smarter than it should have been.
Very, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like in going back and rewatching, that's the thing for me is like it feels much smarter than it really should be. It came out at a time where people thought that kids were smart enough to understand words and phrases like, what is it, jingoistic in the first episode.
Jingoistic. All right. Where I'm a 43-year-old man, you know, father of 3 kids. One of my kids just graduated from high school.
There you go.
I'm like, it was around the time we had X-Men and Batman the animated series. Fox was on fire at that time. We had Everybody Knows It's On Fox campaign was going on, and so if you remember cartoons, and so I'm watching it Saturday mornings. And it was like near the end of the cartoon run. By the time Tick comes on, you know, cartoons is about to be over for the rest of the day. And so it was like one of the last ones that ran. And so I'm watching this, and I'm like, this is around the 90s. This was 90s, like 94. villains, anti-heroes is in. This is coming from a comic book creative perspective here. And we got like Wolverine's the number one, Punisher's the number one, Dark Knight Returns is like number one, is out at that time. And so when this comes out, it was based off a comic, and I'm looking at the cartoon and I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, what is this? It's different. They talking big ass words. It's like Seinfeld for cartoons,
So, and I think that's a really good like what do you call it? Like that's a very good comparison to be like a Seinfeld in a superhero world.
Yeah.
There is so much about nothing about this show.
Yeah, man.
The first episode kicks off and they're in a blank void on a couch together, Arthur and the Tick, right? And they're basically just introducing you to who these two folks are.
Yeah.
And then they jump you in right away into a world where, like the NFL draft, superheroes are trying to figure out which city it is they're going to fucking protect.
Yeah, it's like you put in the application to what do they assign me to? And it was like it was way, like you said, it was way smarter than what it was and ahead of its time in saying this. The Incredibles. They were doing the Incredibles before the Incredibles. That opening scene of the Incredibles, she was like, I don't think so. I don't think so. It was that. It was like it was so, I hate the term meta. It was surreal.
Right.
It was surreal. And I was sold immediately because, again, if you're a Fox cartoon watcher back then, I mean, they were adults. There was like what Mel Blanc and them was doing. Very adult.
So I guess, and from that point, like I remember this being in sort of constant syndication. So when I first picked it and I looked at it, I was like, oh man, this is going to be a deep bench. Like, what am I putting Barry and Nadia up to with this request? And then I get to looking, and there's really only about 32 episodes, 30, maybe 35. Yeah. But it was on constantly. Yeah. One of the biggest things ever promoted. What is it? The Burger King had their tick things. Did you guys get those? Because I got
one.
Yeah.
I did get one.
I guess I don't know. Without really, you can't. The other problem with this, and I'll say it as a problem, is now that the Tick's gone. It's gone through 2 live series as well, right? One spectacular, the other very interesting.
I don't know what the hell they were trying to do.
Huh?
I don't know what the hell they were trying to do with those. With the one where Putty was playing them,
right?
I like that one though.
Is that the Amazon or is that the Fox live series that was at night?
I think that was the Amazon. I want to say. I might be wrong.
So here's my question. Like Nadia, did you catch either one of the live series?
Yes.
Okay.
And I agree that one was pretty good, and then the no.
Yeah. Okay.
No, you tried. Thank you.
So I went ahead.
So I'll tell you this. This is my thought. My thought is really the one that everybody touted as being, oh, look, it's very cerebral, is the one that tried. And that's the Amazon, where the Tick is inside Arthur's head, and we don't know if he's going through a mental breakdown. The one that was absolutely fucking genius is the 9-episode run that Fox did that you can barely find anywhere.
I think that's the one I'm talking. I think that's the one with Buddy.
I think you're right. Patrick Warburton, right?
His suit was brighter.
Yes. And there was none of that, like, is it in his head? It was exactly the cartoon.
It was.
But they had, and they amped up some of the characters. The best character on there was Batman
Batmanuel.
Mhm.
Yes,
A
Batmanuel.
Hispanic Batman.
But, I mean, it was between him and Deflator Mouse. Who was the real Batman, though?
Truly, right? So that's the other thing. And like, I don't know, Barry, you watched the whole thing. Me, I had to skip around. And Nadia, I know you probably caught like 3 or 4 because all you do is work. Like,
Yeah.
it's constantly
Yeah.
on.
Keep it real, Nadia. We ever take your roses, girl.
It's fine.
Whatever.
Fine. It doesn't matter. That and I think the reason it does.
But no, technically, I'd already seen all of
Yeah,
these
that's what I
just
mean.
30 years ago.
Yeah. I did. That's what I told you, Ben. I was like, I watched all this shit. I seen the shit from when it was the good animation on the first season all the way to the shitty animation at the last couple seasons.
So this is what makes me so happy. Because it is what's the word I'm looking for? It's ubiquitous. It
Yes.
permeates the culture. It exists beyond anything and everything else. Like the Tick has worked his way into the zeitgeist that somebody born 30 years after this is immediately into a world where it is a thing. And there's a beauty in that a lot of stuff that gets buried doesn't still have, but somehow this is a thing that grew out. And I guess the question becomes what makes it stick in your head? Like, what's the thing that makes it stick in your head?
It was I can tell you right now, it was the how it didn't take itself so seriously when it was so fucking serious.
Right.
The subject matters that they talked about was the stuff that's very political stuff, and it wasn't even tongue in cheek at a point. It was just like right in your. It was so in your face that it went over your parents' head. Your parents don't even understand what you're watching on a Saturday morning. So it stuck in my head was the fact. I mean, it's the big blue tick. I mean, I'm a visual guy. You know this. You know, like I do visuals. The face of them, it had this like Ninja Turtle Batman thing going on, number one. Then you get the whole spoof on the Justice League and the Avengers, number 2. Then you get like plays on the Punisher, have him crying all the time, shooting everything up like he's like PTSD, but he's just in pain. Things like that is stuck with me. And they had this cool jazz motif to it.
The scat opening, the guy scatting at the
opening
is unreal. That's a thing that I really got a kick out of. And Nadia, I don't know if like I don't know. Are you a big comic fan?
Yes.
Okay. Good. I'm about to say because I was about to be like, because if not, that's okay too. We accept all people here. The good Lord loves us all.
You don't think I like to laugh?
Give him his PC tags real quick. All right, we get it.
The good Lord loves us all and just wants
Yes,
us
he
to
does. I already see what's going to happen when I come down, man.
Look, no. So, and I guess sort of the reason why I'm asking is because a lot of this stuff, if you're not, when you see Omnipicus, I think that's his name. He's like Galacticus, right?
He was like the Galactus.
Yeah, exactly. The amount of parody that goes into a show like this, you can't have that without like a love and an appreciation for the art.
Deep affinity of comics. Like you could tell the creator. I forgot their names, but it was like they were like me. They were like one of the comic book artists, right, or creators that never quite made it into Marvel and DC. So we just decided to shit on the whole thing. We just shit on the whole thing.
But I think, and there's a thing with trauma as well, and like we have a tendency on Totally Toonular to weirdly bring everything back to that.
Yeah.
It's
'Cause everything reverts back to trauma.
Yeah, it does.
It's the center of the nucleus.
Very good. That's a very good point, sister. Like it does.
Uncle Lloyd's birth was the Big Bang.
Mhm. He did. And then you see like he gets a major motion picture of Toxie comes out. I was like, what is it's just such a shit in the mouth of everybody who thought they knew.
that is literally the most what is it, cult member type stuff I have ever heard in my life, Nadia.
It's true though. It's true.
The Big Bang was Lloyd Kaufman's birth. Him and what's the guy in North Korea, right? The two of them. The only two.
Yeah, Kim Jong.
The only two
Kim
births
Jong
that
dude.
ever mattered.
Yeah, no
He
shit.
would agree if you told this to Lloyd, he would be like, "Oh yeah,
It did. The whole
Oh,
thing
shit.
didn't you know?"
started with me. Yeah. Dummy. You didn't know that? Fuck. Like, and then he would just walk away. Fuck. But
Oh shit.
but all of this is born. So the level of like social commentary and everything that exists sort of inside the Tick. One of the greatest bits to me, and God, I forget. It's somewhere in the middle of the second season, and like I watch this the way I watch everything for this show is I tell people usually the best thing to do: watch first episode, watch the last episode, and whatever you can catch in between, you know. And if you don't even get the last one, who cares? The only reason I do that is because I like to know if a series has like a real ending to it.
Right.
Like a real
That's
ending.
true. And
But what
I did that. I took your advice. No, it didn't.
no. But what I caught in the middle of somewhere in season 2, and I was up this week. I was working on my deck outside. I had to rebuild my steps. You remember those stairs that almost killed everybody, Heather? Or Nadia? Sorry. Nadia. Sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my god.
I almost fell down them how many
A
times?
number
Heard
of.
the talent?
So what ends up, I finally redid them. Gonna have to settle down on my coffee here.
You get too excited, old man.
I know. Come on, old
Words
man.
come out of my face. I forget who I'm talking to sometimes. It's a terrible, terrible
Look
thing.
at bluebirds coming out of his beard.
Man. But I rebuilt my deck steps. I rebuilt my deck, or at least those steps. And tomorrow I put up the railing. But where I was going with this, with the social commentary stuff, when we got to trauma, before I got to my deck, and before I forgot who I was talking to, there was a line about cops doing too much paperwork, and they're like, we're not going to report any of this crime. It's just too much paperwork. We'll let it go on. And
I
it's
remember that episode.
it's an overdub. Like you're just looking at like the buildings and whatever. And like, I don't know how you guys feel. I always feel like everything that we hear and everything that we see sort of starts to implant. And then it became like, it's what comes first, like chicken or the egg or the chicken? Were cops always lazy from the 50s on, or did we create lazy cops with lines like that after seeing like 2 or 3?
Right. I mean, we look at movies like Cobra. I mean, like, I used to think, like, well, are all cops badass like that, like Cobra? But it's like, no, not all of them are badass like that, but a lot of them eat cold pizza like Cobra did. So it's like, is it the chicken or the egg thing?
Man, like, there's a lot of adult stuff that's layered in through here too that I know I didn't catch as a kid watching it.
I did. It's impossible for us. We were all we cared about was that bowl of cereal when we got off the bus or back home,
And it's
or whatever.
bright colors. Bright colors. That's what mattered.
Yeah, that's all that mattered.
I think it's in the first or second episode. Oh no, wait. It's either second or the third. It's the one where the Tick is sick. Did you guys catch
Yeah.
this one?
No, wait. Is it the where he was sick and he had to fight Dinosaur Earl?
No, it's the one where he was sick and the new roommate cloned Arthur.
I remember that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the new roommate is this giant, weird, like mucusy sort of bug thing, right? Very disgusting. Clones Arthur. Tick is sick watching television. The bad guy sends the clone in to get a tissue sample. And the clone, because it's a dumb clone, is just like tissue sample. And the Tick has this big box of tissues, and there's a lady on the TV talking very sexily, and then he pulls out a tissue, and the grown-up in you is like, Tick about to pull one out.
Yeah.
That's immediately
like
where my head went, because it was.
Yeah.
It was that very like sensuous sort of voice.
I can't, again, it's beyond tongue in cheek, because if you are, I would take it we're kids that grew up on Married with Children.
Oh yeah.
Right. And there was a lot of adult themes in there, a lot of dirty jokes in there that educated us though. And so I kind of knew about like masturbation already, but was it a metaphor for that? Like it would go over your head when you little.
Gone, completely whatever.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know that.
But I have to tell you real quick about Married with Children. That burns a hole in my heart, because I remember vividly that debuted 86, 87, and I'd just gotten so my folks are very old fashioned. I couldn't get like a big TV in my room, but then when I was a little kid, they were like, well, sometimes you like to listen to the radio, right? And I was like, I like radio. So they got me one of these little black and white TVs that was also a radio.
With the knob on the side, antenna?
Oh, bro, not even, and like it had the fold up singular antenna, not even like the bunny ears. And dude, I swear to you, the screen on this junk, like this, like that's as big as the screen was, black and white. And I would watch Fox on that Sunday nights. I was there when Married debuted. No idea what it was. All I knew, so my dad in my youth was a traveling salesman, right? Like he literally, that was his hustle for the longest amount of time. And he was gone most of the week. So all I knew in watching this, I'm also an only child. So fucking while I'm watching this, I see this weird, like dirty, like low rent family unit. But all I could think is, you know what? They're all there together. I remember being a kid being like, look at all of them, all there together. Get a little older, dad goes into something else, pops is home all the time. Awesome. Great. I had my own Married with Children. It was wonderful, but much more sort of tight-knit and straight-laced.
Tight-knit. I mean, everybody got thrown under the bus on that show.
Very straight-laced, my family.
Yeah.
I'm the only sheep, and it is a
whoa.
It's a challenge,
It's commune? I mean, like...
If only, man. If only. Again, that's the other thing.
But was it like a third world communist cell? I mean, like... What is going on?
It could have. It sometimes it felt like a cell, but I worked my way out.
We were like the Huxtables, though. We were like the Huxtables, but like my parents drink on the weekend.
Nice,
you know.
Good.
And so, like, me coming up, my parents, they both went to work, came home at the same time, regular business hours, 9 to 5. Like 9 o'clock hit, I hear like stuff like Twin Peaks in the background, right?
Nice.
I hear Twin Peaks. I hear Dream On. HBO's Dream On.
That's a horny show.
All the HBO comedy specials, I'm looking through the side of the window. We lived in a little apartment in Trenton, New Jersey. I'm a Jersey boy. And I'm looking through the side. I learned all the dirty jokes and stuff from like HBO Comedy Hour, George Carlin and all that stuff.
So
it was a moment in time.
I would go with my pops every once and again on the road, right, during the summer. And we also didn't have cable. This is the greatest thing in the world. This is my favorite thing. Yeah. The older I would get, like I knew his triggers for sleep. And there's a thing when you go to sleep that like if you turn the volume up, they're gonna notice. If you turn the
Right.
volume down too much, it can also trigger a person to wake, right?
Yeah.
So like you find that sweet spot. It might be a notch or two just in case,
Yes.
but if you go deep on it, it's no good. So we would share a hotel room. It's the only time I got to watch cable. Most of them had HBO, and that's what jumped me into real sex. Like real sex on HBO.
Again,
Not even
that or the movie channel after Joe Bob breaks. After Joe Bob breaks, you stay up super late at night. You get the movie channel, and you get probably Emmanuel 1 through 8.
done all night long. There's where you're at.
So
Now, the the one that again sticks out in my head. This is we'll get it back to the tick. Ultimately, Nadia, this ties into an Arthur costume. It could be an Arthur.
Oh, jeez.
A lady,
sisters,
a
I wanna
lady
see that so bad.
jumps out of a plane, naked, and she's slightly. I would say she's slightly elevated in age, and the image that is burned in my brain from the time I'm like 12, I swear to God. And like she's like she was a stacked ass lady, but each one of her titties ended up in her armpit as she's like
Laughing at
skydiving.
Oh my God.
And it's like everything goes flat across here, and then it's just a titty in each armpit.
She's like a man at this point.
On the stand
Like,
and jump, they're pushed
she's a
out
dude.
to her pits.
Oh, dude, you don't have me draw that,
Ow.
dude.
It was the greatest thing.
I will
ever.
so draw it and just DM it to you just for you.
Oh my God! If you just stretch that,
I so would.
this is the greatest thing I ever saw. Greatest thing
It's
I ever saw.
amazing.
It stays in my head. And meanwhile, you got my dad literally in the same room, just sawing logs on the other side of me. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm gonna turn the TV a
Poor
little
dad.
more this way in the hotel.
Poor dad.
What's going
Yeah,
on? I
it
didn't
was a
say.
moment in time
I didn't say.
that belonged to bring it back to the tick. It was a moment in time that the tick that was the time that tick existed. Things were like the wood grain. You know, in the 90s, is like the wood grain plastic
Right.
wood grain. That seemed new. Leather couches with the metal bars, black leather, so uncomfortable. You know, but that was the time that birthed the tick. It was like Phil Collins is on his way out with Genesis. You know,
There's a desperate level of impracticality that existed in the 1990s.
it was. We didn't know. We swore we were the future in the 90s.
You know what, man? I'm also the same. I'm a 43-year-old man. I embraced my Gen X. I knew the whole thing was going to shit.
I knew it was.
Watched it, and said, you know what? I'm gonna be angsty. I'm gonna be angry, and then I'm not gonna do
Angsty?
shit about shit.
Angsty. Man, oh man. Like, I mean, if you were a female, you didn't have a choker around your neck.
Oh, you weren't know?
Garbage was your music. You listen to Garbage. You listen to fucking Cranberries, Sinead O'Connor. You know,
I looked at
Fuel. I mean,
so I looked at Jen the other day. Jen's my wife, Barry. She's a wonderful lady.
she's great. She's a great artist too.
Man, you want
Yeah.
to, you know what? She good.
We gotta talk.
Yeah, because she's one, and not to get too far off, but I always tell her, I'm like, marketing. Get yourself out there, be seen. And then it's like, I do what I want. Yes.
I typical artist. I do what I want. You can't tell me. I get it, but just let me give you a hashtag for crying out loud. Like,
So the other day though, we're sitting around the house, and she's having like a little bit of like a down day. I don't want to tell too many tales out of school, but
We all have.
she's having a little bit of a down day. And I looked at her and I was like, you know what? You Shirley Manson, you only happy when it rains. And then I just went back to what I was doing.
She always happy when it's complicated. God damn it! Nobody can appreciate it.
You can ask you can ask Nadia. Jen put up with so much shit for
Your shit.
Jen is an
Your shit.
angel.
you know what I mean.
She is a saint. You do not deserve Jen.
I don't.
Aw.
And like that's a thing that I know too, very much so in my soul. Like for 20 something years, she's tolerated a lot, a lot of this.
Our significant others do. You know, I know mine damn sure do. I put her up with a lot of shit, and that's why she's the love of my life. And you know, I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for her. Honestly.
I watched Nadia beat the piss out of her old man on Facebook constantly.
I know. I was like, "Damn, you beating up your old man?" We watched.
He taught me these things to use against him. You can't blame me.
So that's the other thing, right?
that, dude.
Like this is also part of the reason why I wanted to bring the two of you on too. We're talking about a show about a guy in tights with a guy who draws people in tights and a lady who beats up dudes in tights. Like it just made me very happy. Full circle, baby, all day long.
Full circle.
But
all day.
All right. So, like, again, sort of back to the reason for the season. Was there anything that sort of stood out for you in like a rewatch? Like, Nadia, is there anything that sticks out in your head?
How shitty the animation is.
Got it. I mean, overall, it started off better than it ended up. Like, it started off better than it ended up, but it's so weird to watch these older cartoons because that becomes the challenge, and I think it for its time it was. I'm not gonna say it was great for its time because it wasn't.
It was very stylized for its time. When you seen it, you were watching the Tick.
You knew you were watching the Tick, but also even for those 90s cartoons, it was sort of mid. It wasn't great.
It was mid. I mean, by the time you get to the third season, you just throw the shit in the trash. But the first season, though, they always start out with a boom. Nadia, I'm sure you agree. When the cartoon, we first watched the cartoon show, I mean, only one that didn't really do that was like X-Men. X-Men show was always shit. To me, the animation was always shit. Compared to Batman, the animated series, you could tell. Like, you could tell when Japan and it had their hands on the animation. Not to get too much off the tip, we're talking Fox cartoons. You would go for an episode where they had Clayface on Batman. The first episode, it was a two-parter. The first one, you see him, animation, shitty. Second part, you give it over to the Japanese, and you can see the detail, the fluidity of it looked like a Schaefer. It looks like a Schaefer cartoon. So it's like you split the bill. I mean, Warner Brothers was doing anything they can do. As long as it get produced, yes.
Right.
But they split the bill. You look at Tiny Toon Adventures, right? First episode, out of control. Amazing. You get to the second part of it when they finally get to Warner Lot, shit animation. You're splitting the bill. I just wish it wouldn't like that. You know, I try not to do that with my comics. It got to be good all the way through. The cover got to match the interior.
Right.
And that's what kind of made us do the art we do today.
Do you guys think it's because they hand a thing off is what it is, right? Mm-hmm. You have a group that can make a thing pop in the beginning, and then it's like, okay, now it can become cookie cutter. Now it can become mass produced because we've put the hook inside of it.
I hate that. I know that's the fucking truth. It gotta be.
They have you hooked. You don't care. You'll watch it. Yeah. Whatever. Why pay more money, invest more time, and make it look nice? Why? Because you know that would make sense.
Right.
I mean, and I think that's sort of what gets people to where they are today, with the notion of a strike. Like man, I'm 6 of one, half a dozen of the other on this stuff. You know what I mean? every job I've ever had too, even in the quote unquote real world, I was corporate for 11 years.
Yeah.
I worked at Nike in Beaverton.
Well, oh yeah, you was in the shit. You was in the thick of it, bro. Because that they don't get no corporate than that.
Man, like I could tell you guys some pretty amazing stories about that campus, but we'll save that for another time.
You say that for another one.
But I was never union, right? Like Nike's notoriously anti-union,
Yeah.
and a large part of that is because I think Oregon is it's either not a right to work state. I forget which one it is. Tennessee's the same. You don't have to, fuck it. You can fire people at will. It doesn't matter. You're gone. You looked at me
Right.
cross-eyed. You're out of here. I
Yeah.
don't like the way your breath smells this morning. You're
got
gone.
that, bitch, get out of here.
Yeah, you're done. I'm cranky. You're fired. Like it can be
Oh
that.
my god.
But Nike was one of those places. I'm not saying that was that location, but it notoriously like anti-union to a point to where it's like, well, you can navigate yourself. You're a grown person. And coming up where I did, that's all I ever heard. Now I have friends. One of them's in the YouTube chat, which I can't keep an eye on right now and do this. Usually I get to do that because there are two other people here to talk to people. I only can do one thing at a time.
Gosh, Ben.
But Nadia, I'm a diva. I'm a diva. It's what it is.
Everything about us is just like so like taped together. I love it.
And it's like this thing has fallen off the rails entirely from what the potential it usually has. Off the rails. James and Nicole keep us what do you call that? Locked in for the most part. And then me, I feel so bad for everybody. But the thing is, a guy in the chat, Joe Duff, if he's still hanging out in there.
Hey, Joe.
Hey,
Joe Duff.
Hey now.
Joe Duff.
Hey now.
Duff.
One of the creators of our version of the Were Deer is Joe Duff. So we have him and Derek to thank for the simple fact that we had material. But his shop.
Shout out to Derek too.
His shop is a union shop, and he is well versed in it. And I see the good that brings in for the workers as well. So
Yes.
like I'm really 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I also think that we're way too conditioned to think that everybody has the mansion in the hills and the whatever, because we see the big name get the big dollar, and we forget that everybody's got to start somewhere. You know what I mean? And
Right.
some of those kids just get their cards, and then they pay dues into a thing that yields them 50 to 60 cents a year.
Right.
Like Lloyd's check
See
that he
Lloyd's
was
check?
posting.
Oh God.
Getting rich.
He was shitting in the mouth. He was like, wow, I'm gonna get rich.
You know what I
I
noticed?
love the fact that he does stuff like that though.
Do you know what I noticed in that he didn't do?
Doctor half of the check?
He didn't mark out the account or routing number.
He's so ghetto.
Like
Lloyd is so ghetto.
like that's
I love it.
Well, see, and that's the thing. This is where, and this is the wonderful
I love
thing
it.
for me. I never know what's intentional and what's not anymore.
I know. Yeah.
I can't. In so many years, and Nadia, you've been involved since what, Nukem High Volume 1 and Volume 2, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Can you separate what is act versus what is person anymore with Lloyd?
It is 100% real.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah.
I refuse to believe anything different.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah. I can tell that. I met him personally. He's very genuine, man. I mean,
I ask. I happened to be up for a shoot that one of his daughters was doing, and we all went out afterwards. And I leaned in and I talked to her, and I was like, I just have to ask you because I know the answer, but I need to know from family. I was like, they're like, that's what you get at home too, isn't it? And you know what she says to me? She goes, exactly. That's what we get. The grandkids get, they get the happy, bubbly guy, but we get everything that you guys get and probably 10 times worse.
Him cheering up Schumer's letter shit. I was like, they'll be doing shit anyway. I'm like, damn, man, he raw. I love it.
I
love it. I love it.
I had the joy of meeting him in 2000 when I went up as an intern, and if anything, he has. I don't know how to balance it, right? I don't know how to balance it because in one regard, he's become much kinder and much more patient. Yeah. And then at the exact same time, at the exact same level, his tolerance has gone to shit.
No. When I met him at HorrorCon, this was like a year ago how I met you two. And started dealing with you two. Come on, man, you guys are changing my life. I just want to let you know. But when I met him, okay, he was bubbly, right? Yeah. But he kept calling me Beautiful Barry. He was like, Beautiful Barry, hey. I was like, I don't get it. He was like, I ain't trying to correct him, though. But because this is what he wanted to remember me by. And so, I mean, it's Uncle Lloyd. My mom introduced me because my mom's a scream queen, and I grew up on Fangoria magazine and everything like that. And I knew of Lloyd through my mom. I knew about all the stuff, horror period, through my mom.
Time out real quick. You bearing a lead. What's mom's been in?
Oh, my mom?
Yeah.
Oh, man, she was the head of HR for the DMV. She just like Jersey girl. She just retired with my dad and everything. They retired.
Okay.
But I mean, I grew up on horror magazines, Fangoria specifically, which was our internet at the time. She's showing me like all the trauma movies when they get advertised in there, and we'll rent them at Suncoast Video by the dozens. You know, I'm watching all these shitty movies, Class of Nukem High, everything like that. And so I tell her about Uncle Lloyd. She's all emphatic, but then when I tell her how he really is, the real Lloyd is when we were. After the show's over, you meet everybody down in the lobby. I was like, yo, Uncle Lloyd, man, you need anything? I'm here for you. I'm here for you. He was like, he turns to me and don't call me Beautiful Barry. He says, Barry, you know what? Right now, I really need to take a shit. And I'm trying to go and find it. That's the real Lloyd. That's the real Lloyd, right? Not the Beautiful Barry Lloyd, but the one that said, hey, I'm trying to get out of here. I got to take a shit.
So.
You know what I mean? Where's my ride?
Yeah,
right?
I need to leave. I mean, these fucking people all day long. I shake every hand I see. Kissed all these fucking babies all day. Fuck. I just want to go take a shit. What is wrong?
Right. In the hotel, like right down in the lobby.
So.
Yeah. Cuts us in line for drinks. I buy him my old, honey, what was the name of the drink?
Old fashioned?
Not the old fashioned, but got him his favorite whiskey, his favorite bourbon. And brought him a shot of that. Make everybody get out of the way of line. He cusses me out for making everybody move.
Don't
to put him in the front.
Don't tell them that we can wait. We can wait. Don't fucking.
Well, again, but this is the thing. You don't know if it's here or there. You know what I mean? Right. He's a beautiful person, but I mean, like, he's self-deprecating, but at the same time, like, hey, where the fuck is my spot?
So
you know,
and these are some of my favorite, two of my favorite stories, and I'll make them real quick. One was on Shitstorm, and Nadia, it was a day where they were doing the fight scene in the hallway.
Yeah, I remember that part.
Do you know what I'm talking about? With
I remember that part.
Oh my gosh, I'm terrible with this.
It was a little before the Ming Chen.
Right before his cameo.
Right before his cameo.
It was Caliban and Ferdinand fighting in the hallway. So we have this whole like throng of actor persons that are hanging out around the tables. Everybody's being very quiet. The action is happening in a small little corridor. Only the actors and the DP can really get in there. There's one small monitor, and Lloyd goes around and literally to anybody and to everybody, he just starts stacking people in front of this monitor. And he's like, take a look at it. Tell me, let me know what you think. Can you see the monitor? And he's talking to some PA who's there for like 3 days. Can you see the monitor? Can you see? Here, come here.
Yeah.
Come here. You look at this. And there's this stack of people that do not need to be in front of this man's monitor that he has placed there. And then standing behind them all, careening his neck over the sea of people to try and see the film that he's directing,
his movie,
is Lloyd. And what I took away from that, and I snapped a picture of it. I'll send it to you after this. It's a riot, and Nadia, I'll send it to you too. In that instance, I saw a guy who was securing his legacy as a teacher, as like a true sort of artist, as a guy who valued the notion of collaboration.
Yes.
Because I caught him throughout production doing the same thing. Like he would pull people left and right. Have you seen the monitor today? Go look at the monitor. Tell me what you think. Does it look like shit? And that's what he like. It's this weird thing where it's like it looks good enough to him, but does it look good enough to the person who's been busting their ass there for 15 hours, who's working for free, and he's like, does it look good to you? I don't know. I can't tell anymore. I'm old. And like,
he's playing. Is he playing the Dolce old man? Right? Like, is he playing it or
is it like this whole other thing? I don't know. I really can't tell. I need your input. What do you think?
Yeah.
Or is he pushing the tip of like this is the shit that you're here, and if you're gonna be here, you're gonna learn something and you're gonna look at something, right?
That's how I look at it. Yeah.
And that's what I think too. And that's why I had to ask his kid, is it an act? Is it him? What is it? And then the other one, I know I've told people here before, but I'll tell you guys again because I don't know if I ever told either one of you. It's the exact opposite thing, and it was from when I was a kid working there. I show up at the old building in Hell's Kitchen. I get there early one day. He's at his desk, and he was rarely there early. He was there very early that morning, and I come in, and he is hot. He calls me into his office, and he goes, which way did you come in? Did you come in by the C train? Yeah, I came in by the C train. Did you see the fucking McDonald's put all their fucking trash at our trash stop again? It's fucking stacked up. There's fucking rats. These bar. He goes, you know what I want you to do? You know what I want you to do? What's that, Lloyd? How can I help with McDonald's garbage? What can I do? He goes, you're going to go down there. You're going to take every bag that you know is not ours. And you know which ones are ours, right? I took them out yesterday, Lloyd. I know which ones are ours. Good. You take all of their bags and you just walk in, you put it on their fucking counter, and you tell them not to put their garbage there. And I like, yes, sir. All right. Yeah. Walked right downstairs, grabbed all of McDonald's garbage. And I'm 20 years old. I'm from Tennessee. I don't know how stuff works. Like I'm an idiot. So I take all this garbage and I stack it. I mean, I walk through this whole stupid thing and push people out of the side, got all this trash. And I was like, hey, you guys shouldn't really put your garbage there anymore. Like, that's not your place to put your garbage. I'm going to leave these here for you. Have a nice day. Like, I don't know how to act. I don't know how to be an asshole to people like that in that moment.
Ben, you are really nice. You are really, really nice. I'm not nice. I'm a jerk. When it get when shit's not right, I'll make it right. And I've always been this way in my career, and that's why I feel that I get along with Lloyd so much. You know what I mean? Because I'm a man about business. Like I'm about it. Get that shit fucking done.
Nadia is terrifying, but absolutely sweet.
Yes, you are. I said how much you can beat both our ass, dude. I don't even care. Nobody say.
Let me tell you, my heart, Nadia, you're my heart. And this has really gone off the rails. We've not talked about the tick in too long, and we probably should. But one of my fondest memories, we were making spaghetti together for a film shoot, and
Yeah.
we were just listening to 3-6 Mafia all day
6.
while we made spaghetti.
It was
And
great.
it's
It was
my
a good
heart.
day.
We listen, when I first heard about Boo, like you were
Gangsta Boo
you were
passing.
she was my first message of the day. Like I hit up
Yeah.
Nadia. I was like, "Do you know what's going on? This is ridiculous. This is terrible." Because I carry that. I keep that up here all constantly. Just so you know. Just so you know.
Me too, Ben.
Oh,
That was a sad day.
it was. It was
That was a sad day.
tragic. Did
Now,
5
Ben, you
Yes.
need to go to China and stop having people impersonate your kind.
Pretty much.
Barry.
Boom.
There are people out there that are taking on my
Taking
personal.
your work.
They're taking
For real,
my
sister. Shit,
jobs,
man.
man.
That's
No,
some real shit.
Nadia calls me her sun bear, and there was a guy. I don't know if you saw this kid. It's a guy in a sun bear suit in a zoo waving at people.
Oh, Mr. Like my son, man. Look at Ben.
I started getting, and this is the greatest thing. I get these messages, and they make me so happy. Randomly, a couple 3 weeks will go by. You know, everybody's living their life, and then I look down at my
Right.
phone, and from Nadia, I've got like 10 pictures
So
of fucking
weird.
sun bears,
Random as hell.
and she's
I
like,
like shit like that, though.
she's
It
like,
keeps
this
his-
is
it
you.
keeps his family.
She goes, this is you, and all I can see is just when you pull the corners of your teeth, this is you. That's what I see.
Shit.
But anyway. Back to the tick. So it's a thing that we've all watched. It sticks in our heads. It lives there sort of rent free. When you look at a series like this and you start to look at the ancillary characters, the additional sort of world where all these superheroes exist, you have American Made. We haven't even touched on American Made at this point.
The spoof is she's like American Made, a cross between Wonder Woman and Captain America.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Like a woman's woman, had an off-camera relationship with Deflator Mouse.
Right.
Like, I mean, they're talking divorce. They're talking.
So the other wonderful thing, and maybe it's not so wonderful, but maybe it is too. This is the other part of what I always assume is people being very smart, because shit like this doesn't happen by chance. The name itself, what do you call it? It's like a pun, right?
It is.
American Made, but it's MAID.
But it's American Made.
And she's like at a time where everything was like hyper conservative. You're pushing the notion of made in America.
Yeah, but Bush is president at the time, I think, right?
I think when this first came out, I think
Yeah.
it's right. It's either right.
94.
Oh no,
94,
then
yeah.
Clinton.
we're deep Clinton then. My bad.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
But still, though, I mean, like, it's right on the cusp. We
My
still
theory-
live in the Bush era. I mean, Bush had a sandwich.
my
It was in between the Bush sandwich.
sandwich.
Yeah, it was the Bush sandwich. So, like, I mean,
saw
like,
that movie,
people
too.
came up with that surplus Clinton did, but you can totally see the Bush era still in it, though. Like, you can feel it. Like even it was the zeitgeist of the time. You could tell,
Yeah.
but American Made.
American Made. But it's more for me, it's about the notion of making American Made a lady and having her be a maid, and there to like it's both, it's weirdly both empowering and really sort of like it's also
Deprecated.
a very, very much a dig at the same
Yeah,
time.
it's like deprecating in a way.
Yes. what do you think of as far as like a female character goes? What do you think, Nadia, with that? Like, is it a dig or is it a thing that people should sort of celebrate?
Just once again, this is one of those things that's very, every aspect of it is chosen so specifically to deliver that satire and that double entendre. So it is up to anybody. And honestly, I feel when it's kind of up to you, it's not necessarily a good thing or a bad thing,
Right.
but it makes you think. And that just puts more light into that issue. And that's something you should think about, per se.
So to that end, and I love I love that, because to that end, you're right. Is it good? Is it bad? It doesn't matter. Not so much. The big thing is 30 years later, like
We're still talking about this stupid fucking thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
and
30 years later, right? So it's like,
and from today's point of view, today's sort of I guess your 2023 eyeballs instead of your like 19 in the so your 2023 eyeballs, the terms that you hear, the things that you worry about people seeing, doing, whatever, thinking, we've gone through an era of social justice. People are now, coming out. We've all been, Me Too plussed over. All of this stuff has hit. I mean, it has. This is the world in which you live. And then you go back and you watch something where it's like these folks were thinking ahead of the curve. And it's delightful to me in a way, because I don't think you could see her today as that.
No.
Right? Or am I
no.
just completely...
No, brother, no. No, you're not. I feel it's needed, though. If you were... Adult Swim tries to do these things.
Right.
They try and do these things, but they do it so dry that it's like everybody is trying to be Seth MacFarlane, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he came, his style of comedy came and kind of like took over everything. Everything is dry comedy, dry humor. Taking away the joke, if you were to do a joke like that today, everybody's so used to the sarcasm and shoving in your social message of the month or moment, it kind of loses it. You'll lose it. That's why it can't happen today. But if you were to air that shit today, I think it'll totally still fly. I mean, she fighting with plates and shit. I mean, she beating people up with plates. She like, fuck you.
From the depths of the dirty dishwater. Like, fucking American.
It's like, it's kind of cringeworthy at times, because you talk to a guy that was raised by mostly women. The women's movement been in effect for me. You know what I mean? It never left for me. So don't commercialize these days. They commercializing something that's so natural and normal. We already got these feats. We just need one more bit of opportunity. That's what we really all need. Not like we start from square one again. Don't act like we start from square one. That's what I'm like. Put that shit out. Like,
and then you see a character like this too, who's an entire just sort of badass in and of her own right, exists separate of everybody else, has led her own life, and then still fucking is somehow the brightest of the bunch, is always hooking the guys up with the new gigs, always saving their asses.
All the time.
She's completely on top of the game and doesn't take shit off of anybody. And I think therein lay sort of the beauty of the messaging, because we'll give it this sort of near offensive title. Somebody could look at that and say, well, that's anti-woman, that's whatever. if you don't look at the character, you don't know, and you don't understand, and you don't see
agree.
it. And
I agree.
like, not to say I'm not again to toot our own horn, but I will. I think we did something very similar in our movie. I was talking with somebody about it, and I said, you know what? Like, we have this ridiculous scene around a campfire with these strippers. They come out and they slap these guys with their tits, and it becomes a whole thing. Well, in the middle of it, we have our two leads at that point say, "Oh, you know, my stripper is super hot. My stripper is also super hot. That is true. They're both beautiful, talented women that deserve both our money and our respect." And like,
golf clap.
and I was talking to a couple
That's
of
good.
people, and they're like, you know, to take something that could be seen as so blatantly misogynistic, right? Like blatantly like white boy heteronormative fucking, like, it's a man's world, baby, this is what we're doing. And then to spin it and flip it just a little bit.
Perfect.
I think we did
That's
well.
perfect.
I think we did right.
If anything, I feel that like you're digging at the diggers. And I like that. That's like outside. I love that. You know.
And that's the tip that I also think they push a lot in some of these older kid shows, and they try to today. But again, I think, to sort of your point, it's become dumbed down, and I do blame Seth MacFarlane. I don't mind a good episode of The Family Guy, but finding a good episode of Family Guy is further and farther between.
I agree.
Finding a fucking where everything fucked up for me with Seth MacFarlane, and this is where I get twitchy with things. This is where my brain breaks.
Yeah.
Is when Fox made it 2 hours of just his shit. Like,
I couldn't do it.
The world lost me at that point.
It lost the fun out of it. And Cartoon Network started to do this with their cartoons. That's why when you offered me the other two choices, I said, no, let's start with the Tick, because Tick is the beginning of those type of cartoons. It was the absolute beginning. And before that, it was Warner Brothers. Because, I mean, like, you have Bugs Bunny in the skit, and be like, who wears the pants in the family? Bugs Bunny pulls up his skirt and a pair of slacks roll out. They've been on this shit. And so they're trying too hard these days, and the Tick was the beginning of what is now, I feel.
I think it has its place.
Yeah.
I absolutely think it has its place. I think also when we really start to look at the cartoon in itself, animation and mid, absolutely. Okay, great. Writing on point, characters on point. The development that exists between them, I think, is it's pretty exceptional. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
It
is exceptional.
That you've got this big dumb son of a bitch that the little guy is always trying to be like, but let me tell you, he's got to save his ass all the time. And then everybody else, right?
He plays straight guy.
He also, like there's the other thing that I find fascinating in the writing, and we'll probably be wrapping up here shortly, but what I find the most fascinating inside of the writing of the Tick is how stupid but clever he is with what he says.
Yes.
Right? And it's as simple as, I think it's in the last episode where he's talking to Arthur about his new group of superheroes, where it's the Tick versus Education.
Tick versus Education.
when he says they've got the goodies, and it's like, you know, it's the turn of phrase is the goods. You know, they got the goods. These kids are ready to go. They got the goodies, and he's so happy, and it's just the dumbest stuff. I don't know if either one of you saw or if it stuck There's the one where he still believes in Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And it's their Christmas episode.
This is where you're getting at with that, Ben. The thing that was beautiful about that character was that he played it like it's so innocent, right?
Right.
But he's actually capable. That's why he went to the city, because they gave the city because he was like the better superhero out of all the other superheroes. He actually is invulnerable. He is the Superman. But they gave him the Superman chin, the hero's chin. It did everything right. But to have you believe him was to have him be dumb. He has to be dumb.
So it has to be dumb. And then I also, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, Nadia, I think, like, dumb is how I put it, but I'm also, dumb in my own right. Maybe it's more childlike.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
He's more.
That there's an innocence and the wonderment to it. The optimism.
Because he puts you in a place of like fucking of being a 15-year-old again, or a 14-year-old, or a 12-year-old, and you're just I too can take over this world. I too can be my own sort of superhero.
Yeah. And
look how great it is. When he goes off into space and he's floating around in space, he's like, I'm in space.
It's like, you see this? It is great.
I'm in space. So as we do get ready to kind of wrap up everything here tonight, we usually rate shows on a couple of different scales. We have a scale here, and I'm just kind of burning a little bit of my own sort of lead while I try and find what James
I saw what you did there.
likes to have me do. He does he's got these 2 to 3 sound bites. If I can find my fucking Google Docs. There we go. And so we might not be able to hear him, but we usually rate a show on a scale. And that scale is sliding, and it is based on Where Dear and Totally Toonular itself. So if we like a cartoon, actually, if we don't like a cartoon, we give it an old, from the trailer, Derek made a very weird noise one day, and he goes, "Eeeh," and that's literally what it is. Hang on, tell me if you guys can hear this. You guys hear that at all?
I don't even hear it.
You don't?
I don't hear that shit.
Uh-oh. Hang on. That's because it's only going through.
It's the deer noise, isn't it?
So, yeah, it's in my... it's in my headphones. You would think I would be better at this by now. The other one comes from the film itself. If we enjoy a cartoon, we give it a success. There's a scene where here it is. Here's Derek.
That's the deer.
And it goes on forever.
I hear it, yeah.
Forever. And then if we enjoy a thing, we might recommend it to somebody. We give it the old success. Success. That's from Zach Amico, and I cannot find that one. But if it is the top of the line, the best of the best, James says we have to give it this.
I really enjoy coming. I really enjoy coming.
So I'll kick us off.
Okay, all right.
For me, the show is just as straight up. It's a success. I wouldn't say it is the bee's knees. I would have no problem recommending this to people. For me personally, it exists in a place to where almost like the Toxic Crusaders. It's very similar in style, themes, elements, but it exists in a space where it is tremendous for background. It is if you're up, like you're cleaning the house, you're doing whatever, you're doing your workout, you're counting your calories, all of that fun stuff. It's amazing to have on in the background, and you'll catch lines. Episodes will bleed together. You can catch the beginning of one, the ending of the other, and you feel like you watched an entire episode.
I agree. It's one of those. It is
So
one
that's
of those.
me. Nadia, where does this live with you?
Fulfill.
Oh, fuck Thea.
Definitely a nostalgic cartoon for me, though it was not my favorite during that time period of my life. I always enjoyed it, and it was nice just to tap back into that for, a few episodes today. It definitely made its mark, as it was certainly unique and, innovative for its time, being one of the more satirical children's programs, with all the hidden jokes and stuff. But it's not the greatest.
Yeah.
It
To build
could have
up,
been
just to bring it down.
It was all right.
Yeah.
It was it was good.
It was good.
I don't want that again.
It's right.
Yo, man, I'm fucked up. Like, no. But
Love it.
Yeah. But I would say the same as her. I would say it was totally mid. But at the same time, it had its elements, like you were saying, Ben. It was ahead of its time, and it set off a lot of stuff, which would make it great. But me personally, guys, y'all know me. I do your visuals from here on out, hopefully. But I do your visuals. The degradation of the visuals near the end of the series, it turned me off, man. I mean, like I'm looking at again, bring it back to Tiny Toon Adventures. Man, they were nailing that shit with satire and animation, and I compare it to that. So I would have to say the
So do you know? I'll tell you guys.
The toys, I enjoy coming.
The toy. I mean, listen, those things are baller. But where that comes from, that success, Zach Amico is doing a wonderful masturbation scene in Curse of the Werdeer, and as he finishes, he literally straight up just fucking pops, and it's like, success. So happy. But anyway, all right. So
love it.
we're wrapping up here. Usually somebody asks a question as to what is next week, but you know what I mean? It's just me here. It doesn't feel natural to have. So will one of you ask me a question? That is not natural. What I will do at this point in time is tell everybody what is happening next week, and what I can't tell you is what's happening next week. All I will say is that we do have a very special episode coming up, and that's where I'm going to have to leave it. It will be on Wednesday night. It will be before our test screening of Curse of the Werdeer that Friday. And can't tell you who's going to be on, and I can't tell you what we're watching. All I can say is find us on YouTube Wednesday night, and then listen that Saturday. I think you guys are going to be very happy.
Yeah. I enjoy coming.
Me too. But Nadia, Barry.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Nadia, where can people find you right now?
all over the internet.
Oh. Literally, the only two words they need to type in are Nadia White, and you've got her everywhere you want to be, and then a couple of additional places.
Yeah, she's everywhere. She's a phenomenon.
Done. Barry, where can people find you, man?
You can find me at Stay Broke on Stay_Broke on Instagram, BlueJuiceComics.com. Basically all over the internet. You Google me, you see me up here like this. And TSD.com, you can get my stuff there. Tell them Steve Dave. And, just keep looking for me. I'm always everywhere. I'm on Facebook everywhere. Probably in your trash bin, digging for trash.
And as usual, you will find me here, usually on a Wednesday, tonight on a rare Tuesday, but you'll find me locked away in the fantasy shed, holding down the fort while we continue. Oh, Jen's popping
There
in.
she
Hang on.
is. Hey,
Hang
mama.
on. Let me bring this up so she can see your beautiful face there.
Hey. I'm surprised my wife didn't come out either.
Nadia, Jen misses you. Just so you know. Just
Matilda misses you guys.
oh, she says Matilda misses us. Yeah, I know, right? Like that's the thing. Nadia has this beautiful little puppy, and she is in my heart. We sat and we had lunch with her and Danny Stratos.
He's around here somewhere.
We had a wonderful lunch the other day. Not too long ago. They hit me up whenever they come through Nashville, and it is absolutely amazing, and it always warms me up.
Always a pleasure.
Can't wait to meet
It's all
you guys.
mine. Pleasure is all mine. But anyway, all right. Like I said, you can find me here at the Fantasy Shed, locked away every Saturday morning on Spotify. We'll be back again. This has been Totally Toonular. God, I can't wait for James and Nicole to get back. Barry Nadia. Oh my God. Thank you guys for joining
Love you,
me.
brother. Love you.
Love you guys. What are you
Thank
talking
you for
about?
everything.
Thank
Bye.
you. Be well. Bye.
Later.
Bye.
I already.
What? Where'd Nadia go? Oh God, they already pieced out, huh? John, are you there? John? Everybody's gone. Hang on. Yeah, I guess so. Fuck. Okay.